What's up, everybody? Before we get into the video with you guys today, we want you guys to tune in April 19th and 20th as we will be live hanging out with our boys, Fab Reactions, and our honorary use Alec as we watch WrestleMania.
WrestleMania 41 live stream. You got to be tuned in to do so. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when we go live. Also, follow us on our socials to see clips and videos that we'll post leading up to the big show. But now, let's get into the video. C2 Wrestling with an evening review of Monday Night Raw, the build up to WrestleMania, where we will be live, WrestleMania 41, right here on C2 Wrestling. Make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications. The FAP Reactions reunion, so much stuff coming Mania weekend. Snowden, it's been the road to WrestleMania. We're still on the road to WrestleMania. It's insane having a Raw at 3 p.m. Like Raw's over. I mean, it's not the first
Mm.
time they've done an international show, and it's not the first time you're able to watch an international show at this time, but it still just feels weird that Raw is over at 5:24 right now, East Coast time.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself at 8 p.m. tonight. It's very odd. Monday evening Raw, went hard. I'll tell you what, based on that crowd, it won't be the last Monday evening Raw we get. That crowd was electric tonight in Brussels, and it was great from top to bottom. John Cena starting the show. Our man, heel John Cena. What did you think about all that?
Man, there's so much to dive into with this Cena promo. I'm glad it opened the show
Yes.
because they got right into it. They got hot the entire show, honestly. It ended up being around this normal time that Raw has been, the 2.5 hours
Mhm.
roughly. But this one just felt like it had more of a, all right, next, 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 next. And you can even tell
Yes.
some things definitely had time cut for sure.
Mhm.
This Cena segment did not. And that's probably why it opened the show.
For sure. I realize we're on Netflix. They kind of have an endless runtime, but they're in Germany. They're at this arena. I don't know what time it is in Germany, 8 p.m. in Germany. I have no idea, but maybe they have, times they got to abide by for the arena and things too. So maybe they did kind of have to crunch the show a little bit. It was a fantastic Raw. I really thought tonight was great. It was very like next segment, next segment. They were kind of skipping through some stuff. EO coming out to the ring right after Dakota Kai's match. Like they were just kind of really getting to the next segment, but they let John Cena run with that thing for a good 30 minutes, and it was incredible. I do have to bring up what John Cena brought up, and that is that the music ain't changing, the attire ain't changing. If you would have asked me before Raw, it didn't have to be tonight, but I would have liked a little bit of a change. Maybe a theme, maybe the attire. But I'm not opposed to them not changing it, and I think Cena's explanation to it is the perfect reasoning why.
Yeah, they were in Belgium tonight, not Germany. I don't know if they have a
Oh my
German.
god,
Yeah, do they have a Germany?
Brussels?
Yeah, yeah,
You said Belgium.
yeah. Brussels is the capital of
Belgium.
Belgium.
Oh my god, I'm fucking losing my mind here. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm losing
yeah,
my mind here.
yeah,
Whoops. Yeah.
yeah. Brussels, Belgium,
Yeah,
right?
I'm losing my mind. Yeah, it wasn't,
The
but
the
yeah, yeah,
colors are similar,
yeah.
um, but that promo. First of all, I texted you this.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck can anyone watch this segment and not be like, John Cena's just the greatest to ever do it?
It's crazy, man. They had a plan for a while to do this. I'm sure. You know, Jey Uso was as over as could be tonight. People still wanted Cena to win that Rumble over Jey Uso. After seeing this, after seeing Elimination Chamber, I don't get it. I don't get that idea. This is perfect. John Cena is the absolute GOAT. We have said this. Cody Rhodes is already the most over guy in the company by a long shot. Jey Uso's climbing, but Cody Rhodes is the guy. They're utilizing John Cena to double down on Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is going to be mega over by the end of this John Cena run. And I think it's brilliant. John Cena coming out in the regular attire, putting the mic down, picking it back up, putting it down, picking it back up, going after the crowd too, kind of pointing at people, interacting with everybody. Crowd was as lively as can be. I think there's a reason why they did Cena tonight and not last week, perhaps. Maybe Cena's schedule is a little tight still due to Hollywood, but that international crowd hits different, man. They don't get Raw all the time. They don't have the opportunity every time. So when Raw goes there, that crowd is going to show out because they want WWE to come back. Starting off with John Cena was the absolute right move.
So you asked me, I kind of slow rolled on it, my thoughts on it. I had a few takeaways from it. I don't want to say good and bad, but obviously mainly good. The segment, it's one of the most anticipated segments of all time. The
Mm-hmm.
first ever segment of John Cena being a heel after 20 years. And honestly, it hit. It's one of the best segments ever. I know this is like insane recency bias, but to me, it hit on all cylinders. Now, there's a few aspects of Cena's promo that you can kind of pick at. First and foremost, we still didn't get that exact answer. Like, he had to address the crowd, which was
Mm-hmm.
pretty much the biggest thing to address, the most time consuming thing to address. He had to go at the crowd. He had to do that entire explanation of the why I turned my back on you. They still have 30 days to promote this match. We still need the answer as to why he did it and aligned with The Rock. And I'm actually fine with not getting it right away because to me, this is such a historical moment. It's such a monumental thing, John Cena turning heel, that I don't want all of the cards on the table week one. I don't want all the answers. I don't want it all laid out and that promo ends and I'm like, okay, well, I can just have the match now. Like, I feel I need this few more weeks. I want to know why Cena, aligned with The Rock. I want to know Cena's reaction to Cody essentially calling him a bitch after pouring his heart out. Guy pours his heart out for 20 minutes and Cody says, "Shut up, pussy." Like, that's essentially what happened. Like, that's straight up how it went. How does Cena react? Does Cena jump him again? Do we see a different side of heel John Cena? Do we see that elimination chamber Cena come out again? I'm cool with not getting all of the answers as long as we get the answers, which we will.
Yeah, we definitely will. I do agree. I think them spreading it out is the idea, and I think that's better long term. I had the same idea. We didn't get the answer. We didn't get any mention of The Rock, even. And, that's a big deal. So it has to be brought up at some point. I think you bring it up with The Rock, though. Rock and Cena in the ring together is perhaps the better answer. That's not necessarily a complaint of mine. I would say I don't even want to say it's a complaint, but my only thing about the promo is more so with Cody Rhodes, right? If you're Cody Rhodes and you come out to that ring, the biggest babyface ever, John Cena, turned heel on you at Elimination Chamber, beat the ever living crap out of you, hit you with the title, busted you open, whatever it was. How do you not get to that ring and beat the shit out of him? I understand why they didn't do it. I do. But I didn't need a brawl. I'm not saying I needed that or anything. But from Cody Rhodes' perspective, is coming out and calling him a bitch enough? I don't know. Maybe I expected a little too much. Again, I didn't need a brawl. I didn't want that. But maybe a bitch slap. Maybe something from Cody Rhodes could have heightened it just that little bit more. But off the back of what you said, it really is. Maybe it's a little recency bias. It's one of the greatest opening segments to Raw ever.
Yeah, I do agree. Like, it is a little odd that Cody didn't come looking for revenge. At the same time, they've kind of done that with his character a bit, like with
Mm.
Styles, with Owens. Like, he really kind of slow rolls and like you gotta really get to him multiple times. He's almost like it's in his character to be so forgiving. And like when he came out, he's like, I gave you the deserved time. Like you deserve the mic to give us an explanation. He very well, it would have made perfect sense if he said, I gave you that time. Now I got to beat the shit out of you for what you did. Like that very well could have happened. That still would have made sense. I'm kind of glad it didn't. You know, there's the old adage of like don't touch until the match. They've already touched essentially, so that's kind of out the window, you know. Would I have hated it? No. Did they need it? Also no. Does it make me want more? Yes, because I do think now after Cody Rhodes gave him You hit me with your best shot. I'm still standing. I'm better than you. I'm the champ. I'm no longer kid. You got to come to my level. I think we see that side of Cody after he gets the whooping similar to Out in the Rain by The Rock. He gets one of those, and that's where that side of Cody comes out because there's still a decent amount till Mania, but Mania ain't 6 months away.
It's creeping up on us. This happens every year where we're, 30, 40, 50 days out from Mania, and then it's WrestleMania, baby. So it's definitely coming up. I do agree. I think, again, you kind of said it in the beginning of this, that they are spreading out everything. You can't do it all in one night. So I would be surprised if that bitch slap doesn't come eventually from Cody Rhodes to John Cena. I was looking forward to the John Cena segment tonight to see if it swayed my opinion at all on the main event of WrestleMania, and it didn't. You gotta put that belt on John Cena at WrestleMania. You gotta put that belt on John Cena. If John Cena loses, what's next for John Cena? I don't see the bigger picture if he weren't to win the championship.
So, credit to Ryan. I was texting Ryan during the show, and he said,
Mm-hmm.
he's like, you expect Cena to win, but it does intrigue me the thought of kind of a little bit of a tailspin for Cena if Cena loses and it's like I threw this all away and I still lost. And does he then go even further into it, or does he, kind of slowly work his way back to getting forgiveness? Who knows? That does kind of interest me. To me, it feels I want Cody to win as a Cody fan, but as a long-term Cody stockholder, writing's on the wall. Cody loses, and it builds towards Cody's eventual win. Maybe that's the main event of SummerSlam in MetLife Stadium, second night, first ever 2 night SummerSlam. Cody works his way back and finally overcomes the odds. And so you have Cena get his 17th, hold it for, what is that, 4 months roughly? You
Mm-hmm.
know, so it's not world's shortest title reign, but it's not the longest title reign. Cody wins it back in dramatic fashion, whatever. If Cena loses, he's gonna win the title at some point. Like you don't turn him heel to just have him lose, 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 lose. Like it just
Yeah,
that doesn't get the big payoff for the guys you're trying to put over. Him turning heel was for Cody to get bigger. Cody just winning, I don't think does that.
absolutely. It's all about the big baby face chasing the big bad heel. And I think what people are kind of missing here is because it's about John Cena and Cody Rhodes, two of the biggest stars ever. I feel like the overarching theme is The Rock still. And it's kind of The Rock wanting the upper hand on Cody Rhodes, and having John Cena win the title does that for The Rock. I think you have two big bads in The Rock and John Cena, and let alone Cody Rhodes. You have so many guys that can get in the mix with John Cena to build towards whatever PLE to SummerSlam to next Mania. I'd be surprised if this John Cena heel run doesn't last the entire retirement tour. I can picture at the very end Cena kind of coming back to his senses, maybe going babyface again. But to me, it would be very strange for him to go back babyface any sooner than the end of this run, in all honesty.
Yeah, as we've talked about, like you don't turn Cena heel to turn him back face in 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like this isn't. I don't want to say like the Big Show because that's almost like too comical in the joke, but this is the biggest heel turn ever that you can't just waste it. Essentially, you
Yeah.
have to run with it for a little bit. Now we're gonna get to some other stuff from Raw, but one thing I did want to touch on with the Cena promo while listening to him, a piece of me was like, this feels like this is probably the exact promo we were going to get if he turned heel all that time ago for when he had originally planned to turn heel.
Mm-hmm.
This promo would have worked spot on then, if not, probably a little bit more, just because how active he was week in and week out. This one just had the retirement tour thing added on. Like it felt like not that this was so rehearsed, but it was so perfected that it had to have been the route he was going to go if he turned heel, back whenever he was supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I can definitely see them playing off that. That was back in, what, 2012, 2013, whenever it was. You just add 15 more years to that, realistically,
Yeah.
12 more years to that, and it's kind of the same thing. It was the perfect opening to Monday Night Raw. It is one of the greatest segments we've gotten in a long time. I hope it's going to end up with one of the greatest heel title runs in a long time as well.
Yeah, and we know who the winner is at the end of the day, baby. That crowd was nuclear
That
for him.
crowd was nuclear. Cody Rhodes coming out that whoa hit like a lot of woes don't. That was incredible to see. There's a reason that title is strapped on that guy. There's a reason that's who beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. Couldn't have been a better choice, in my opinion.
So there was other continuations on Raw of
Mm-hmm.
stories. LWO and American Made continues on. The women's triple threat pretty much went as expected for the contract signing and how it's going to lead to that becoming a triple threat. No Reigns, no Punk. So Rollins just got a promo. That's really set up for SmackDown, which, SmackDown obviously is must see, but it feels like they're kind of shifting that build more towards SmackDown and shifting the Cena Cody build a little more towards Raw, which is interesting. But the biggest, honestly, Mania build to come from this, besides Cena Cody, is the Intercontinental Championship slash Penta.
Absolutely. Zero, Miedo, Penta going for the IC title. Commenting on the triple threat build, Reigns, Punk, and Rollins moving to SmackDown. I guess it plays off the back a little bit of Raw being heavy build for a lot of things, and they're building a triple threat on Raw already. So maybe you build a triple threat on a different show. If they had back to back like triple threat segments, not that it matters, but I just don't see them doing that. As for the IC title, though, man, Braun Breaker versus Penta. Take my fucking money, man. Like, take it, keep it, run that credit card up, baby, because that is what I want to see. Still not ruling out the multi-man IC title match. I can see the writing on the wall. Braun, even if it was Fatal 4-Way, Braun, Penta, Dom, Finn. Maybe Styles, Logan get added in. Maybe Kaiser finds his way involved. A guy that very much deserves to be on the Mania card this year. I was booking this in my head as I was watching this, right? Obviously, the Judgment Day is falling apart, and that is going to disband soon. We got a segment of Dom talking to Karrion Kross backstage, a little bit of a hint, maybe. I don't know if they go that route, but they absolutely could. But I envision, maybe they run the ladder match route at WrestleMania this year for the IC title. Braun and Penta have kind of their own thing going. AJ and Logan kind of have their own thing going. And then you got Dom and Finn. I can envision, maybe there's a ladder set up in the ring. All the guys are down. Dom is the only one standing, looks up, sees the title, sees Finn laying there, starts to pick up Finn, pushing him up the ladder, gets on the other side of the ladder, starts pulling Finn up to help Finn win the title. And as Finn's at the top, hugs him and thanks him, Dom pushes him off the back of that ladder, grabs the IC title. I think that's the move, if you ask me. Don't get me wrong. Penta is the aura. I hate that word, but the aura is unreal. The charisma is through the roof. You strike when the iron's hot, and I will not be mad at Penta winning that IC title. But man, the heat Dom would have. He turned heel way back when joining the Judgment Day. He turned heel again, turning on Rhea Ripley. Can he turn heel for a third time in one run by turning on Finn Balor?
He took that little peek at the title. Like it was very quick.
Yep.
He took that peek at the title. I texted you. I was like, it's interesting the amount of routes that they're going because you mentioned Karrion Kross, but then didn't mention him potentially being in the match, which he
Mm-hmm.
could be. I mean, he's intertwined in these stories. And then obviously you have Styles, Logan seems to be working towards something, but I don't know. It's like I feel like this will be the multi-man. The same time, the US really could be the multi-man. I mean, they could very well do multi-man for both. And then you start thinking of some other people like Ludwig Kaiser deserves to be on the Mania card. If he's not like that, that's upsetting. We are the first ones to be like, Not everyone gets on Mania. It's it's the best card of the year, the biggest card of the year. You shouldn't just throw people on to throw them on. I mean, that guy has been like one of the more like he's like the this is gonna sound like an insult, but this he's like the sixth man of the year of Monday Night Raw. Like he is Mr. Consistent every single week. He deserves a spot. And then at the same time, you mentioned him, like, oh well, Sami Zayn's got to come back at some point too.
I was just going to ask you, where is Sami Zayn, who has a little bit of an involvement with Karrion Kross? Maybe AJ and Logan is a singles match, which is okay with me. Maybe it's Karrion and Sammy that get added in. Sami Zayn can't possibly be off the Mania card, right? I don't want to think this deep. Maybe there's some rehabbing injuries or something that would keep him off the card, but we're getting close enough to the point where is Sami Zayn?
Yeah, and on the flip side too, if you do a multi-person match, like maybe eight, like that just feels so rare.
Too
You
much.
can do it for tag teams, but eight singles guys seems insane. We've named eight easily without even mentioning like Sheamus, who
Yeah.
hasn't been around as well.
Pete Dunne, who knows?
Pete
You just
Dunne,
throw
like
people out.
this isn't universe mode. You're not going to do a 10-man rumble for the Intercontinental Championship just to get everybody on the card. This isn't your action figures. And you're like, all right, I'm going to open the show with a 10-man gauntlet, whatever. You
Yeah.
want it to still make sense, but they're also intertwined that really, I'll ask you the question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be okay? Would you be fine if the Mania card ended out playing a little chalky, even though all of these paths are potential, and it was a little chalky, and it ended up being Dom versus Finn, um, Penta versus Braun Breaker, Styles versus Logan, and then maybe like I don't want to say cross Zayn, but something along those lines. It's very chalky, but that's like seems to be the pull in case of emergency. This is the fallback plan. Just do singles matches for all the original stories.
Yeah, I can see the path, but I feel like with all the other matches that are shaping up, some match in there gets kind of cut short in a way to fill out both those cards. So maybe you just do kind of add the feuds together. And, Braun is kind of intertwined right now with the Judgment Day a little bit, the IC title. The Judgment Day is going after the IC title, I should say. So I can see them intertwining that. I do think I would more prefer the multi-man to be for the IC title, but you mentioned it before, the US title could absolutely be multi-man. If not, I don't know what they do over there. There's so many potential routes, as you said, for everything going on Monday Night Raw, on Friday Night SmackDown right now. The opportunities are endless, regardless whether it's all singles matches, a multi-man, a fatal four-way, this or that. This really is shaping up to be an underrated WrestleMania card. I don't think it's quite getting the credit it deserves.
I think I would prefer the Intercontinental Championship to get the multi-man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with the US title being Big Jim versus LA because you're more likely than not going to get Solo versus Jacob. So if that's the route and the multi-man is, 6, 7 guys, IC title, ladder match, I'm cool with that. I don't think that's going to be, uh, but I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it either way. Again, the cards are really starting to shape up. I have no complaints about any matchups that we're getting or potential matchups that we're getting yet. Maybe there's like we said earlier, Ludwig Kaiser should be on the card. Okay, maybe that's a little bit of like if I could squeeze something and I want him in there somewhere. But there's not a single potential matchup that has me going, don't put that on the card. I don't want that. Penta versus Bron, singles match, incredible. Styles versus Logan, incredible. Throw him in a fatal four-way, incredible. Add the Judgment Day, it's incredible still. Like there's really no bad avenue. Where they go with the IC title, I would like to put my money on Penta or Dom. I think Braun can maybe start to move on to some different things outside of the IC title. I think Penta as champion would be massive, especially with the counterpart Phoenix coming around to SmackDown fairly soon. That I honestly think it sounds weird, but them being brothers, the fans know this now. You put that title on Penta, and I think it kind of like heightens the excitement for Phoenix, to be honest. I think that makes Phoenix a little bit more must see. But something about it, man. Something about Dom winning that IC title. I think I need
I think I need it too. I completely agree.
it.
I don't want to end this on a sour note, but
Mhm.
it is something that has to be addressed. Our world heavyweight champion, our greatest wrestler, our wrestler of the year, Gunther. We have the newest segment of the build for him and Jey Uso. And look, I love Gunther. I love Triple H. I think I'm ready to say this build is kind of stinky.
So to me, they just started it a little too early. I think it's a tough build to last from the Rumble to Mania. And don't get me wrong, Jay won the Rumble. You don't really have much of an
Pre
option there
Rumble.
pre-Rumble. I think they could have ran the idea of like Jay's deciding who to face for a little bit longer, perhaps. I think that maybe could have helped like extend the feud a little bit. It has been every week. It's kind of similar to the Charlotte Tiffany Stratton feud, where it's just Jay comes out, gets super over with the crowd. Gunther comes from behind, puts him in a rear naked, throws him out, chokes him out, whatever it may be. Jay gets a little bit of the upper hand here tonight. But I don't know. Yeah, something about it is not clicking as much as it could be. Jey Uso, again, over as could be with the crowd. I don't see Gunther retaining the title at WrestleMania. I think they're putting all the eggs in the basket at Jey Uso. I just hope that hype stays. I hope the Jey Uso hype stays post WrestleMania.
I think it will. I think also my gripe with it is they've kind of used Waller and Theory just as like the not even the holdover. They've kind of used them as like the crash test dummies
Mm-hmm.
during this feud, which fine. But where they you start to lose me, am I correct in saying they announced Jay in a mystery tag partner against Waller and Theory next week?
Oh, I don't know. Did they? I didn't
I
catch that at all.
I think they did.
I got up actually after the Jay Gunther segment to go grab a drink, so I kind of maybe I missed that somewhere. I don't know if that happened.
I think they announced Jay. Yes. So next week in Scotland, it's Jay and a mystery partner versus Theory and Waller.
Mm,
Which who knows?
wow.
Maybe that's the return of Sami Zayn. My issue with it is that match being made. Why? Jay beat Waller, beats Theory in 10 seconds,
Yeah.
and it's not like they used their numbers advantage to get up on Jay or use their numbers advantage to really hurt him and he had to fight through a win and then Gunther attacked him after. Like he dummied them both in 10 seconds and then Gunther came after him and now he's facing him in a tag match. Like the way the last few weeks have gone, I'm not convinced Jay can't just beat them in a 2-on-1 handicap match.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The way the Jay Theory match went tonight, maybe if maybe that got cut a little bit, who knows? But my boy Theory getting pinned from a cross body in a couple seconds is come
I think
on
it was
now,
a spear, but he yelled. Cole said
Yeah,
crossbody.
yeah. It was probably an attempt of a spear, but it looked cross bodyish too. I get it, it's fine. Things like that happen. I'm not gonna think too deep into it, but you're kind of booking Jay to be like top dog. You're booking him like you were booking Roman at a point. I don't know, man. I'm not quite saying it's falling flat, but there is like a bit of spice missing from this feud.
So I just looked up to find that post to make
Mm-hmm.
sure I didn't imagine it. Now, I'm going to say they could do this. It would still be cool. I don't need Jay to be the one for this to happen with. All of the replies to Russell Ops on Twitter, all of their replies to their tweet of Jay with a mystery partner, whatever, are all for Joe Hendry because it's in Scotland, which would be fire. It would be fire. They are in Scotland. But to me, this is like, you could have put any babyface mid card name against Theory and Waller and done this. Like, Jay doesn't need help. So, yes, it would be cool. It'd be an awesome moment. But this could be fucking Dragon Lee for all we know. And it still works. Like, the moment is still great. Jay in your world title feud doesn't necessarily need this.
So thinking it over as you say this to me, The route I'd go with the mystery partner is that Jay couldn't find a mystery partner. And out to the ring, announcing that he's in this match, is Gunther. Gunther and Jay versus Theory and Waller. And it's a little bit of like a showmanship between each other, you know. Jay starts the match. Gunther, he kicks the shit out of Waller or something. Gunther gets the tag, slaps him on the back, and then Gunther just comes out and he's chopping Waller in the corner in front of Jay. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of like a back and forth between the two. Outside of the Sammy return, the Joe Hendry's wishful thinking, in my opinion, that would be pretty epic, but I don't necessarily see that happening. I don't know. I agree. I don't know if Jay needs to be going up against Waller in Theory again, recycling the same thing. They are just they're really filling the weeks here. I think the route, maybe this could have happened a week or two ago. I know they want Jay on TV, but I think you maybe missed the opportunity of having Gunther powerbomb Jay off the stage or something, and Jay's off TV for a couple of weeks, just to kind of play the like Jay return. Jay's healthy for Mania. It adds a little bit of a layer to the feud because again, it's getting a little bit flat.
Yeah, completely agree. Gunther's still the best in the world, and
Still
he
the GOAT.
means nothing. And
Always will be.
I hope I didn't just get my hopes up seeing all those people say Joe Hendry. I'm not gonna expect it. If it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, I'm not gonna be upset because I'm
Yeah.
not one of these people who makes up a scenario in my head and it doesn't happen and I get mad because it's just not how the world works. But I'm still very excited for a 4 p.m. Raw next week. Love this 3 p.m. Raw. We're done and dusted. Reviews done before 6 p.m. Get this thrown up. Still have my night to do whatever I want. Probably do work if we're being honest. But man, let's have Raw, at 3 p.m. more often.
Yeah, it does feel crazy having the next few hours to myself. Again, I don't know what to do at 8 p.m. I might just go to bed, honestly. This is kind of nuts. I don't know what else to do, really. Maybe I'll rerun Raw. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, maybe not 8 p.m., but 7 p.m., April 19th, April 20th, we will be live. WrestleMania 41, us and the Fab Reactions crew, Honorary Us Alec. You've seen it at the top of the video. You're going to hear it again at the end of the video. Come hang out with the boys. We've been C2 Wrestling. Until next time. The John Cena.
Taking it away.